G'day YouTube, just a quick video on spraying Cornice. I'm using a 211 fine finish Graco tip with a Graco attachment head on a Wagner gun. My spray is a Wagner Project Pro 119, which is the bottom of the trade sprays, but perfectly fine. I'm using a fine filter, and because I'm using a fine filter and a fine finish tip, there's going to be minimal overspray on this job. This is a furnished house. I haven't covered much because you don't need to when you're spraying Cornice with this setup. You can see there it's very neat. Prior to spraying, I've gapped up all the cracks in the Cornice, and I've also gone around with a shellac stain sealer and sealed any fly spots or any stains that are on the ceiling with that first. Then I just give them a quick spray with flat before I do the whole Cornice in one. Just a blockage there, I'll just clear it on the wall and just wipe the paint out on the wall. That's the quickest way to do it. You can just do it in a bucket as well. You can sort of see there how far down below and above the Cornice the spray is coming. It's maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches tops past the bottom and top of the Cornice, and you just simply roll into that because it's got soft edges. That will sort of fade away into the rolled finished ceiling when it's done. Whereas if you're using a standard tip, it's got a hard edge, and with certain flat paints you can actually see the edge even though it's flat paint when you do the sealing. Tape join. This is a tape join that's cracked where the two sheets of gyprock mix. I saw it after I quoted the job, which often happens. I use a self-adhesive gyprock tape, which is very easy to use. You basically just wet it like a postage stamp, wait for it to completely dry, and then give it 2 or 3 coats over the top of that with either skim coat or Cornice cement or whatever you want to use. I sometimes use a quick dry plaster to get it done quickly. Usually I can get it done in about 45 minutes, 3 coats of quick dry plaster. It's not too much of a headache for me. As far as the flat paints, this is a flat ceiling paint that you get, flat plastic it's called. There are different flats. Some have got a sheen, like a 5% or 10 or even 15% sheen on a flat, and some have got none. There's a Hadrian contractor paint, which has basically got no sheen at all, so you'll get perfect ceilings every time. When you get flats that have got a 10 or even 5% sheen, if you're doing a big ceiling with light streaming along it, you can run into problems, get joins and things like that. Whereas if you're using a 0% flat, you don't have any of those problems usually, and you can sometimes touch it up right in the middle of the ceiling and you won't see it. Now here I'm doing a bathroom ceiling. Usually I'm just using a standard ceiling paint. This is only a small little job that I'm doing to freshen up someone's unit. Usually you wouldn't use ceiling flat in the bathroom ceiling. You'd either use semi-gloss or low sheen. Unless there's ventilation. If there's adequate ventilation in the bathroom, then you're fine to use ceiling flat. A lot of painters probably screw up their faces at that, but it does work. As long as there's ventilation in there, you won't get too many mold problems or anything like that. There's that tape joint again. You can see I've dug it out. Let it dry. I basically plastered it from that point on. I've given it 2 coats today. I'll go back tomorrow and give it 1 final coat, and I'll block sand over that. And what I did today was I rolled all around that, and I just left that little bit of ceiling there. And then what I'll do is I'll just do that with a trim roller tomorrow, just that corner. If this was in the middle of a ceiling, you wouldn't be able to do this the way I've done it in this video. You'd actually have to finish the plastering first, then roll the ceiling in one sweeping motion. Because it's off to a corner of a bedroom ceiling where there's not a whole lot of light getting to it, I've actually just rolled around it, and then I'll sand it and just touch up that area tomorrow morning. Even in a bathroom ceiling, something like that, you can get away with that. But wherever there's light, sunlight coming through, you risk being able to see it after it's finished. Anyway, thanks for watching that. Just a quick demo of both the spray, the Wagner Project Pro, which a lot of painters rubbish the Wagner gear. It's really good stuff. I don't know what they're talking about. I've been using it for years. Just showing you how clean you can be with a fine finish tip. If you're spraying inside someone's house, you should always be using a fine finish tip of some sort. Just one final note, because I'm only doing the cornice here, there's really no need to cover too many things unless you're doing a lot more spraying, so spraying whole ceilings, and I'm holding it up nice and close, so there's really not any overspray coming off that. Any overspray that is coming off that is landing on the wall. If you're spraying whole ceilings, cupboards, things like that, you will need to cover carpets and do, because over time you sit there for a while, you will get overspray.